Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm so beyond excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a first impression and finally trying Glaminatrix cosmetics. They have been on my wish list for a while to try. I believe that they were on my wish list, or like my list of brands I wanted to try in 2019, and ever since the first time I came across one of their Instagram posts and their swatches and how intense they were, they have been on my mind. But it took me a little while longer to try them just because they are an Australian indie brand, and so I knew that trying them would entail a shipping charge, and I just wanted to wait for the perfect moment because they had a lot of single shadows, but I was just kind of curious to wait, and they ended up doing a bundle that I fell in love with. So this is the Sandra's Favorites bundle. I have it in a little Shop Miss A palette, but it just looks like this, and it is a bunch of really beautiful blue shades. So this was the order that I originally made. I purchased just this little bundle, and I was so excited about it because it was when blues were just like starting to be super trendy. And unfortunately it took a really long time to get, just because first I think that they just have like a longer processing time, and then they're like little shadow cartons. Their manufacturer sent them and they were like completely messed up or something along those lines, so they had to wait for those to like come back in and be like the quality that they were supposed to be, and they definitely apologized profusely about that. And then during that time frame, they were sneak peeking the Sandra Rose palette, which I thought was really beautiful just from what I had seen. Like I saw a few swatches here and there, and I actually reached out to the owner and I said, you know, I was wondering, since my other order hasn't shipped yet, if I ended up purchasing the Sandra Rose palette, if there was a way you could combine them. And she said that she was actually hoping to send this to me as PR, and she would send it in my package. So I thought that was really, really nice, and I was so grateful to receive it just because it is so beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. I just think it's like such a stunning palette. So this is what the inside of the palette looks like, and I think it's such a beautiful color story. There's a mixture of pinks and greens and blues and a little purple, but it's all kind of on like a muted tone, so I think it looks really beautiful and I cannot wait to try it. And then also she did, the owner, go ahead and throw in an extra single shadow, which I have separately here. This is the shade Algae. I'm pretty sure that this is separate. I'm pretty sure that this whole bundle is only blues and this is the one extra. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she also sent two pigments, which unfortunately don't have the names on it, so I'm gonna have to like reach out to her and see what the names are going to be, because she sent a few samples that aren't available yet. Unfortunately the packaging on these is a little bit messy, just because I feel like getting moved around and stuff, there's no like thing to hold it in, so when you open it, a ton of pigment falls out. So I didn't even open it all the way, and I have stuff all over my fingers. So I don't love the packaging. I think I'm gonna have to open them up and like completely clean off the outer rims so that I don't get a mess every single time I open them. I don't know if I'm going to be brave enough to use those today. And then also I have a few lip product samples to try, which is super exciting. I believe that these two shades are liquid lipsticks, and then these two are glosses. So I don't think I'm going to do lip swatches today. Knowing me, I'll probably end up using this gloss just because it looks very, very me. It's the shade Gloss 27. I don't know what it'll end up being, but I'm all about a nude gloss, so I figure I'll try that one out today. So there's so many beautiful goodies. I think that I'm gonna save the Sandra's Favorites bundle for another day. I'm going to use it. I will, but I thought today we could focus more on the Sandra Rose and then like the little. So I'm so all over the place because it's like so many beautiful things to try. I think I'm gonna use the Sandra Rose palette for my eyes, and I think I'm also gonna use it for my face, just because I don't have any blush or highlight on, so I thought maybe I could use like Petal as a blush and Jasmine as a highlighter, and then I'll use the gloss and do a kind of Glaminatrix face kind of thing going on. Alrighty, so I think I'm first just gonna go ahead and swatch everything. Also, in case you're curious, the palette does have a really nice big mirror in it, but I'm so excited. I feel like I've been waiting for this moment for so long. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll show you really quickly. This is what my swatches normally entail, just a quick little rub. So there is Jasmine, which looks like such a beautiful white gold type of shade. And then there's Petal, which is like a really soft kind of blushing pink, and the shade Bud. Ooh, this looks like such a beautiful coral. I'll be honest, I have to be really, really light with this finger right now because I jammed it and it's a mess. It hurts really bad, so I'm not applying any pressure to that swatch. I didn't even think about it until I just now started doing it to my arm. So if the swatches with my middle finger aren't as good, that's why, because I can't apply any pressure or else I feel like I'm dying. All right, next we have Rose. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that is so stunning. I like that. The formula immediately reminds me of the Kaleidos makeup formula, and they have a shade that's kind of similar to this. I kind of want to swatch those next to each other now. And then there is the shade Nectar, which, oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful, deep, bright, but oh, such a pretty purple. I don't even have words. We've got the shade Pollen, which is kind of like a really soft pink, but it's an interesting tone. It's like a dirty soft pink. All right, next we've got the really interesting shade here, Bloom, which kind of looks like it has like these speckles in it. It reminds me of Loveluxe Beauty came out with like the Opal Lustrous pressed pigments, which were like these like little gold flecks, and it was just that. And then they came out with some new shadows that are a mixture of both, and I actually haven't tried those ones. I don't like the original ones, which are just the flakes, but this looks really beautiful. I don't know if it's going to show on camera, but it almost has like a duochrome to it, and it's like this ultra like violety purple shade. Looks really pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's a little flaky, but the duochrome is so beautiful. It's like this like greeny gold to like this vibrant violety purple pink. All right, I got a little distracted with doing that one. I'll do the other two in this like next round of 3. We've got Botanical, which looks like kind of like a deeper green, and then Vine. Ooh, that's a really pretty shade. All right, next is Sandra, which is a really beautiful like deep blue, but it has that same really reflective creamy texture. Flora, which is, oh gosh, the texture of these metallics feels so intense and beautiful. I'm getting like even more hyped up to do this the favorites bundle, but that's not like, that shade isn't particularly my favorite, just like because I don't use really deep metallics all that often, but it's super reflective, so it looks really pretty. And then next we have Leaf, which is like a deep green, but it's not so deep to where you can't tell that it's green. Like, I love those kind of really deep colorful shades that hold their color while adding depth. That's like my favorite thing. Oh gosh, so pigmented. All right, next we have Seed, which is a really deep brown, like crazy pigmented. It doesn't feel like super creamy, but it doesn't feel dry either. It has, from swatching, just a tiny little bit of kickback. And then there's Posy, which looks to be such a vibrant kind of like mid-tone. Actually, yeah, that's a really bright blue. And then last but not least, another shade I'm super excited about is Flourish, which looks to be kind of like a bluey silver. Again, so beautiful. Wow. I really like that shade as well. I think it's really stunning. All right, so there's what the shades look like a little bit closer up. And just to show you, look at that shift in Bloom, that like pink to gold. So pretty. I just wanted to show you really quickly, since I mentioned it, the shade. Here is the Astro Pink shade, and there is what it looks, there is, oh gosh, okay. The shade Rosé, this one right here, is the one that kind of reminded me of each other. The Astro Pink one might have a touch more purple, but I just wanted to swatch them next to each other to show you kind of maybe like a comparison in formula. All right, so this one here is Astro Pink and this one is Sandra Rose. So they're not exactly the same. I think that the Astro Pink is a little bit more of a like thinner texture, a little bit more creamy. I mean, they're both extremely creamy, but the Sandra Rose one has a little bit more thickness to it, but there's what they look like. All right, so jumping right onto the look, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the shade Pollen. So I picked it up with my fluffy brush and there was only a tiny little bit of kickback. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that off in my crease. So I feel like this kind of reminds me of the one pink shade that was in the James Charles and Morphe palette, just because it's showing up for me because I have such a light skin tone, but I think it's so light that for a lot of people it will be useless. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab the shade Petal and I'm gonna go ahead and put that right into my crease. And just kind of blend it out. Such a really beautiful, soft pinky shade. It's blending really well and easily. And again, I'm only getting a little bit of kickback in the pan. I feel like the two mattes that I've used so far seem to be a little bit more on like the buildable side. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and take the really deep purple there called Nectar, which I'm so excited to try. This one has a decent amount of kickback coming up in the pan, but I'm just taking it on like a really tiny little crease brush and putting that into my outer V. That one's really pigmented right away. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that out in circular motions. So overall that's blending pretty good. Just gonna go ahead and slightly buff out the edges with my previous brush and no additional product. I think I'm gonna take a little touch of that same shade and kind of pop it onto the outer third of the lower lash line, kind of connecting. I'm really undecided what to do for the lid because all of the shimmers look so beautiful, but I'm so intrigued to try the Bloom shade, so I think that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm looking at this now and I feel like it would be one of those shades that'll definitely perform best. I'm kind of mixing it together to get it all, I don't know, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I feel like this is probably gonna be one of those shades that'll perform better with a glitter glue. Oh gosh. Oh, I just felt a ton of fallout. Okay, I don't know about that. I don't know about that brush. Let's try a different brush. Okay, that's literally not picking it up at all. I guess maybe, like I said, a glitter glue to make sure that you can catch everything, because I barely even got anything on my lid and I have a ton of fallout already, which I had a feeling this was going to be kind of a trickier shade. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab a little bit on my finger and see how that goes, because I really just do not mind using my finger to do eyeshadow at all. Like, it's not a big deal for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of press that in. It's such a beautiful shade. All right, I don't know how to feel just because I think that looks beautiful, but I still got a ton of fallout and it looks kind of chunky on the lid. So I think that's something I'm definitely gonna have to play with and kind of figure out the way to best get that shade to work for me. And also it just, you know, applying with the finger and everything is a little bit more messy. So I will, you know, keep playing with it and see what I can do to get that to work for me. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take a different like little brush and I'm gonna go ahead and just dip into a touch of the shade Rosé and kind of use that on, let's see, is that gonna pick up with this brush? It's like trying a new brand, trying a new formula, having to see what brushes will work, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use a touch of Rosé to kind of fill in my inner corner there, since it's kind of blank right now. And then I'll just kind of blend that into the other shade. Alright, I kind of want to do a little touch of blue on the lower lash line, so I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Sandra, and I'm going to use that on the middle of my lower lash line. Just kind of blending that into the purple. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Flourish, which is that beautiful bluey, silvery kind of metallic. I cannot wait to put this on my eye. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that onto the inner part of my lower lash line here. And kind of blend that into the previous blue. I just thought that these colors together would make a pretty gradient. Alright, last but not least for my eyeshadow, I'm going to go ahead and grab the shade Jasmine on a little like fluffy inner corner brush, and just thought maybe something with a little more texture would pick up that really well. And I'm going to pop that on as my inner corner highlight. So my camera wasn't focused at all, but that's really pretty. I like the whitey gold tone. I feel like that'll be a good combination for the other shades that are going on in this palette. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use Petal as a blush today just because I thought it'd be fun to try. I'm just going to just grab a tiny little bit on a fluffy brush and blend that in. It'll give a really pretty cool toned pink blush kind of look, which I like heavily contoured today just because I don't know why I'm like wanting to get back into contouring, so I've been having some fun like just reusing or like re-pulling out things that I've kind of forgotten about that I've had because I used to be obsessed with contouring. It's a really pretty blush and it kind of ties the eye and the cheek together really well. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab some of Jasmine as my face highlighter today, which I feel like just given how beautiful it looks on the inner corner, I think I'm really going to like this as a face highlighter. It has a very wet kind of glow to it. Alright, really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and pop the Linda Hallberry Cool Mood pencil in my waterline and use the Big Ego mascara from Tarte, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I really love that pop of blue liner with this look. I think that it all, like the color scheme ended up coming together really beautifully. Even though, yes, I have some fallout and whatnot, I think like the actual look I really enjoy. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use one of the glosses just to give it a chance and we can see about the formula. Okay, so the formula seems to be pretty opaque. It's a little bit more like thicker, like on the creamy side, but I wouldn't call it sticky by any means. Feels really comfortable, pretty glossy. It's not like the glossiest glossy, like just dripping wet kind of gloss look, which is more of what I'm into, but this feels pretty nice and it seems like it'd be a really good kind of lip gloss to top lipsticks with, just because of the texture. I think it would mesh really well with other lipsticks. So I'm going to zoom you guys out just a little bit because I zoomed in for the eye look. And this is basically the finished look. I really do like how the end result turned out, but I kind of feel like there's a little bit of a learning curve because the shimmers are a little bit messy. At least especially like that Bloom shade, which of course I had to go for the hardest shade, the Bloom. It's different, it's interesting. I'm going to use it more and see, you know, if I use a glitter glue, if I wet it, what I can do to make it a little bit less messy. But I think that it is a really beautiful color, has a really pretty shine to it. I'm also really excited to use like the other regular shimmers more because I think like the lower lash line looks really beautiful. The inner corner highlight is really beautiful, especially I love the way that the cheek turned out as well. So overall I'm excited. I feel like it's sometimes I do a first impression and I feel like I have a pretty well like rounded grip on how I feel about a product, but this just feels so new and abstract almost in a way. So I'm like, I definitely need a lot more time to tell how I feel about it, but so far I'm impressed. I think that the mattes blended pretty well. There was good pigmentation. I didn't have any problems with like it not blending or not sticking, and from swatching it all felt really beautiful. So I'm super excited. I think maybe I'll do a 3 looks with one palette using this if you're interested, and then I can also, as I do each look, include some of the other lip products and maybe a pigment here and there. So I think it's a really beautiful color scheme. There's something about it, like I said, it's just so soft, but it's still fun. So I'm excited to use it more, and like I said, I was grateful to receive it as PR. And of course, I'm so excited to use this little bundle. Maybe I'll do it as a single Shadow Saturday and just go and swatch them all and then do an eye look or something along those lines, because this color scheme is really, really beautiful, and it's almost all metallics. There's only 3 mattes, and like I'm so excited for the metallics. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I totally forgot to mention this, but I was trying to coordinate because it's like the Sandra Rose palette, and so I wore rose earrings. Even though I didn't paint my nails this time. Coordination failed. Alright, so that is everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to know if you have tried anything from Glaminatrix Cosmetics, or if there's any particular things that you have your wish list on, or if you had never heard of them until today. I'd be really curious to hear your perspective. So I will see you in the next one. Bye!